Hello everyone and welcome to today's stream. Today we're joined by two filmmakers who are taking part in the Trendsetters program, Trendsetters Shorts program for the Tokyo Lifter Film Festival. Shall we find out who is with us?
And we have two filmmakers here from completely different time zones, and we're sort of sat right in the middle of these. Vicky and Jackie. Vicky, should we start with you? Would you like to introduce yourself, the name of the project that's screening in our Tokyo Festival this month, and the role that you played in that film?
Yes. You'll like my actual full name. It's Victoria Elizabeth Rhodes. How much more British could that be? Yeah, my family were Anglophiles. But I like Vicky. That's my nickname. That's what I usually am called. And my film is called Song of the Open Road, The Story of the Southern California Youth Chorale. Mm-hmm. It's number 121 on the Trendsetters list. Last on the list, but first in your hearts.
I like it.
Absolutely. And we have mentioned this film in our roundups.
So I was the executive producer, I was the producer, and I am in it. So it's actually my project from start to finish. My idea of trying to do a documentary about this honor choir that I was in high school and college that toured the world, that was so important to me. It changed my life. It changed many people's lives. And nobody's heard of it. Nobody's heard of it here in Southern California.
And you wanted to change that.
I wanted to change that.
Nice.
Exactly.
Amazing. Well, we'll come back to this and we'll hear more about the inspiration behind it very shortly. But at the moment, we've also got Jackie over in China. Jackie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. So I'm a film student at the University of Edinburgh, and I've been studying in the UK since 2016.
Nice.
And I started learning as a multimedia artist, and then I decided to focus on filmmaking since I studied university. And my film is called The Curtain Will Rise Again. It's a film that closely related to my own experience, like living in Edinburgh during lockdown. And it was filmed during lockdown, so and as a result, I'm responsible for every single role of the film.
Nice.
Wow.
Sure.
Yeah, it was a challenge, but it was also fun. Yeah.
So when did you get back to China?
Just a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, okay. So all the time until then, you were in Scotland.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
So I think this is a good time to just mention that if you are watching this stream, the chat room is open. So if you do have any questions for our filmmakers, we will be sharing them with our filmmakers on this call. Great. So should we find out a little bit more?
Absolutely. Vicky, why don't you tell us where the concept for the film first started? I mean, you've told us a little bit, so this is a personal experience about something. So at what point really did you decide, I'm going to go back and try and use these contexts? Or I guess, who was the first person you enlisted?
Well, I have one of my partners, Terry Hamilton, has a Facebook page. And what we were trying to do is trying to get a lot of our members to join the page and then give us their photos. And if they had videos, now remember, this is 1965 to 1978. So there are very, very, very few videos. But we did have a lot of photos. And of course, different people went in different years, went to different places. And we started kind of putting a few videos together to put on Facebook. And as we said, well, there's nothing that kind of brings this all together. And we kind of sort of put something together for ourselves. And when we got done, Terry said, what do you think? And I said, I think we need professional help. And so we found Melissa Dowler and Tom Dowler and their production company, Long Haul Films, and they fell in love with the concept. They said, this is something that we want to help you do. It's amazing how many people, when they really believe in your project, that they just want to help you to put it together. And so I have been an assistant director for 30 years in the industry.
Oh, nice.
But as you're the assistant director, you're not the director. So, when you have an opinion, you have to defer to the director or the producer. And so this was a project that I could do, that I was the last word. Mm-hmm. And I could say, no, I want to change this. I want to do it this way. I want to do it that way. And so we ended up I think we edited it 3 times. We've changed some of the music in it. All of the music in the film is us singing. Oh, nice. We did recordings of every year. And so that was fantastic to be able to pull, because this is supposed to be an honor choir, so we should sound good. And decided that was what we could do to enhance that. And at the time, the guy who was the director, the founder, the person who started this all, K. Gene Simmons, was getting up there in years. Now, he was sharp as a tack, but he, was having some physical problems. And I just wanted to make sure that he could see this, because I felt like he didn't know how much he had affected all of us and changed our lives.
That's so nice.
We've had some reunions, some big reunions, some smaller reunions, and we decided our jumping off point would be to do a reunion and have that photographed to show. What I always say is, a lot of films that are about choirs, they're about young people, teenagers who are going to be the next Beyonce, and they're going to be the next big thing. And here we are in our 60s and 70s. And so we're able to look back and see how that actually affected us, whether you ever sang again or not. Just to be in that group, just to get that encouragement from somebody who demanded excellence. You had to be the best thing ever, and how that continues to affect us today. And I wanted him to know that, and I wanted us to know how much, and I wanted the world to know how much it meant to us to be in this group.
Nice.
So has he now seen the film?
He has seen the film, and unfortunately he passed away.
But fantastic that he got to see it before. And I'm sure that meant a lot to him.
He would cry.
Yeah.
He was just such a humble man that first, the biggest thing is he didn't want to do the interview. He was like, well, this was a long time ago. And I think that he just wanted to be remembered as the dynamo that he was when he was younger. And I said, if you don't do the interview, we can't do the film, because it's your baby. Sure. I'm trying to bring your baby to the world. And so I finally got him to agree. And he just thought it was the best thing. He was so, so, so excited. And we had just gotten into the New Hope Film Festival, which was our first acceptance after many rejections. And he passed away right after that.
Well, what an amazing tribute. And like I said, so nice that you were able to share that with him, and this can, live on as a legacy for everyone that knew him and whose lives he touched. That's something really quite special. Just one quick question of something that you brought up there, because it's something that I think we get asked a lot by filmmakers. How did you go about finding the production company? Was this a question of sort of trawling the internet, or was it sort of word of mouth that you heard about the Dowers, you said, Melissa Dower?
I Terry was an elementary school teacher, so he had no clues. But he asked me what how do I find somebody? And so I did go online, and there were 104 independent film companies in Los Angeles area.
Yeah.
And I started going through each one. I got to 4 that I thought were interesting. 2 of them thought that we just wanted to videotape our reunion. And I'm like, that's not what we want. 1 we never heard from again. And then Melissa and Tom said, we're here for you.
Nice.
And so it really was culling through a lot of people who, they're doing their own thing. So, and more power to them. I have no qualms with that. But when you come in and you actually have an idea that is fully formed, you have to really be a special person to be able to say, yes, let me help you do that, instead of, well, what are you going to do for me?
For sure. Well, amazing. Thank you. Well, we'll come back to your sort of career more as a whole in a second. Jackie, let's go to you and just ask more about this sort of process of concept to filming your lockdown project.
So this film was actually part of the a coursework of my my university, but so my inspiration really comes from again, as I said, my daily life experience. So I was doing a daily walk around Edinburgh during the lockdown, and during this exercise, I was constantly trying to sort of experience the feeling of the city during lockdown, because it was so different from my first year there. And then, so for example, I was walking around those empty streets and the Royal Miles, things like that.
I can't imagine the Royal quiet.
Yeah.
That must be strange.
Yeah, and it almost feels like I was put into a large how do I say that?
Maybe it's almost like a film
a large
set.
puzzle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like a film set, but with both vertical and horizontal links, because those in Edinburgh they have those narrow links which goes ups and downs and those. So it was quite interesting, and so I slowly developed this kind of weird feeling of lost in the city, because I was just going circle.
So how many people?
And
so you mentioned earlier, I think, that you did all of the production yourself. So you had no additional cast or crew. It was just you. Yeah.
Oh, I have one of my flatmates as an actor, and that's it. It was just the reason I made this film is I want to show this sort of feeling of maybe loneliness or strangeness during this period.
I think that's definitely something that people over lockdown could relate to, no matter where they were in the world.
Also, what stage of the lockdown did you do this film? Was it the first lockdown, the second, third?
It was the one after Christmas.
Oh, okay.
So probably the second one.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Great. And what's the plan with the film? Is it just doing the festival circuit at the moment, or are you happy that it's handed in and your university project is now finished, or does it have a future light?
It's now finished, and I've submitted to several festivals, and I'm still waiting for the results. But I think this kind of short film can be a demo shots of longer features.
Oh, cool.
And that's
Nice.
also, yeah.
So you're using it as a proof of concept for a feature film.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Very cool. Great. Well, we can move on and talk about that a little bit more later on.
Yeah, definitely. Why don't we go back to Vicky? So you said you'd been working for many years in the industry as an AD. So was this your first experience fulfilling the other roles or not? Had you worked on previous passion projects as well?
Right. I actually went to USC's film school and graduated in production.
Nice.
So you have to make a bunch of, student films at that time, which is very difficult to get into and difficult to graduate from.
Yeah.
But I haven't really done anything since then. And so that was quite some time ago. And it was something that I really loved. And I had always hoped to get to the point where I could start directing.
Nice.
That, I actually got into the Directors Guild training program where you get 400 days of on-the-job training. And so I've worked on many different things. I'll tell you, and you've only heard of probably two of them, but they're kind of big.
Amazing.
And and then I graduated and became a second AD, and then and then I became a first AD, which is what I loved. And I just thought the next step will be directing, and that opportunity never came. And I've written some scripts that I've put into film festivals and stuff, and gotten some good feedback, but nothing happened. And so it just kept being like, you're Lieutenant Riker on the Star Trek is like, let me take over the ship for like an hour, let me do that. And so through my career, of course, working with different directors, I was able to do some directing, but of course my name's not on it because I wasn't supposed to be doing that, but it's in the movie. So it's just me trying to me, the film art form is a wonderful way of collaborating with so many different people who have so many different skills and ideas that I always thought if I could paint, then I could paint and I wouldn't have to, depend on anybody else, but I can't. And so, I can write, and actually I did a play for my church one year, and that was just amazing to be sitting there and hearing my words coming out of people's mouths.
Sure.
And that was really exciting. And I have also written a murder mystery game I co-wrote with a friend that has a lot of parts. And so we played that. And so you see these little successes, but you want more.
Yeah, of course.
There's always that, what's the next project? What are you working on once that's finished? So, yeah.
Which leads into us asking you then while we're here, what is next? Is there anything currently that you're working on as a director? What's next for you?
That smile says yes. And so does the laugh.
But maybe it says that I've signed something and I'm not allowed to talk about it. I don't know.
What I'm doing right now is I am starting to rewrite 2 of the scripts that I have done.
Cool.
And just kind of going through them again, seeing if how to polish it, update it, and then see if I can. My dream would be to direct something that I wrote. And so that's my goal.
That's a great goal to have.
Yeah.
It's a great goal to have
It is.
because I feel like I'll know this backwards and forwards. Yeah. I know the characters, I know where they're going, and I can put my skills of being on a set for 1,000 years to a story about people. I really am, there's no explosions, there's no killing, nobody dies. But just a story about people, and maybe a story that you haven't heard of before. Or one of the films is really, in the background, it's actually an homage to Los Angeles because I was born and raised here.
Nice, great.
And so I said, if Woody Allen can do New York, I can do Los Angeles.
There you go. Nice.
Well, good luck. Good luck. And I think it's a really realistic goal.
Yeah, it's great to hear.
To have. So
could you just drop those two names? You said we'll have heard of two of them that you worked on with the Directors Guild.
Yes. So the one is I was on The Color Purple.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
I was
Did we talk about that the other day?
We were talking about that film just the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We were.
And the other one was Blade Runner.
Wow. One of the team's favourites here.
Yeah.
We've got a massive poster. Actually, I think it's just behind this wall.
I think it is, yeah.
Of Blade Runner.
Yes,
Big
I have
sci-fi fans here at Liftoff.
I have my poster right here that I bought 1,000,000 years ago. And those are the two. If I say Blade Runner, everybody goes crazy. So I always say that second.
Oh, The Color Purple is
insane.
wonderful as well, though. What a powerful story. And, yeah, it's amazing. Wow.
Those are the two big ones. And then other one, I did Dragnet with Dan Aykroyd and Tom Hanks. I did Three Amigos with Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and Martin Short. I did the Cinderella, Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella with Whitney Houston, cool. Whoopi Goldberg, and Brandy.
Wow.
Those are your highlights.
It's amazing that you have schemes like this available. We have something similar. We've got a BAFTA mentor scheme in the UK for any UK filmmakers watching this. And they just are great at creating opportunities for people that you otherwise just find very difficult to sort of find for yourself as an independent. So I'm sure you feel like that was pivotal in your career progression.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah.
So going from one end of the spectrum to the other, where Jackie, have you graduated from university, or do you have 1 year left?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So you're moving into your third year?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And we've got someone who's literally a year from graduating. So you're at different journeys right here.
Which is really exciting. And there's so much to learn from each other and each other's experiences, which is the whole point of why we do these.
Absolutely. So are you working on anything over your long summer break, or are you just going to have a rest now and then jump straight back into university in September when you start, or are you going to work on something? Or are you working on something?
Yeah, so I'm currently working on a script. It will be turned into a film next semester. So
okay. So you're kind of like getting ahead of the game. Nice.
Yeah, so I'm still looking for inspirations.
Nice. Is directing the end goal, or are you still unsure? You're still exploring all avenues.
Yeah, I'm still not quite sure, but obviously directing will be like one of the.
That's one of the
things I would
dreams.
prefer to do. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and I'm also working on a film festival as a sort of a volunteer judge. No, as a judge. Volunteer.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great.
So
What's the name of the festival?
Lots of short films. Mm-hmm. It's Norwich Film Festival.
Norwich Film Festival. Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I'm sure you'll have noticed this yourself. We always say that watching as much film as you can, consuming as much, especially independent film, when you're in at that landscape, there's no better way to learn.
No better way to learn.
So you're doing the right thing. It amazes us sometimes when we say to people, you know, oh, so you're trying to make, I don't know, dramas on this budget. Well, how many of those have you seen that you love and that you're trying to emulate? And they sort of say, oh, I haven't really seen any. And we're like, no.
And then or if they say they have, they'll be naming films that have huge budgets.
Millions and millions and millions.
And you're just like, okay.
Yeah, you know, how can you create work in sort of like this weird vacuum space when you don't know what your contemporaries are doing?
So yeah, well done, Jackie, for being so like proactive and looking at what others are doing and what not to do essentially for your films and what works really, really well.
Amazing.
Oh, I'll be excited to see your graduation project. That'll be cool. So do stay in touch. Stay in touch.
Did anyone have any final thoughts or feelings? Or, I don't know.
I did want to say that to Jackie that I did watch your film.
Oh, great.
And I really liked it. And at one point it felt like the actor would stop and he would turn around to see if somebody was following him. And I just thought, was that something that was purposeful? Kind of like it's so empty that you feel like somebody's following you, or if that was...
That's the point.
Oh, good.
Amazing.
Good. Yeah, I went to, I was in Edinburgh 5 years ago. So right after the tattoo. So there was a gazillion people there. And to see it as empty as it was in your film was really interesting.
Eerie. It is really eerie, having seen how empty the world was. But yeah, nice. So regards to the feedback for each other's projects, that will be taking place on the Members Hub. So you just go back into your groups. We'll be posting in there everyone's film posters and a little bit about what to say to each other, essentially, and then everyone can comment on that in there. So we should be getting quite a few comments on your films.
For the people that couldn't make it today as well to this call.
Yeah, right.
Well, there's still a few weeks left, or maybe just, what's the date today? The 24th?
It's the 22nd. We've got one more week.
One more week of the Tokyo Festival, so there's still time to engage with the content and engage with the Friday streams and the Monday streams regarding what's going on here as well. And then we'll be moving into the network round.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate you jumping on the call today and having a chat with us. And
sharing your experiences.
Sharing your experiences and letting those that have been watching a chance to hear what it's like to be working in the film industry for so long and to look at someone from a perspective that's just starting. So thank you again.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us both.
All right. Cool. Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.